Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll make
Roll
sure.
Tide.
Yeah, if you need help loading in or loading out, we got you.
I'm telling you, do this all the time. At the end of the event, we're hauling out barrels right and left, and there's at least 20 grown men that says, "My truck's right over there."
Exactly.
Always trying to get it. Well, appreciate y'all calling in.
Yeah, sorry we weren't able to make it in person, and I think Cody and I both have just been slammed here with the holidays.
Oh, I'm sure.
Trying to get 2024 going, as you guys, I'm sure, same way.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this event right here is probably the one I'm most excited about this year. So what y'all have done with this already is amazing, and I'm excited for this year. And just tell us a little bit about it.
Well, introduce yourself first.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first, Brian. I'll turn. But
Sounds good.
I'm Cody Robinson. So this is year number 9 for BourbonHam already, which is hard to believe that
Wow.
it's. I remember we were sitting in the room years ago, and it was another guy's initial brainchild. His name's Scott Thorne, and he's got a great story and testimony behind the reason we do it. And the fact that it's morphed into a sought after, especially in the Southeast, kind of regional event it's pretty amazing. But anyway, I've been on the committee since day one, and my wife, is associated. She's actually got multiple sclerosis, which is what the whole event really represents, is to support the National MS Society. That was the initial draw, and she helps out with it a ton. But it's been a fun ride and a fun journey, and it's pretty amazing for the people that's never attended this event to see the caliber that it is. I mean, it puts Kentucky to shame in some ways, because we steal so many of the distilleries.
Awesome.
Like, what does it take to put on something like that? I mean, it's to be able to reconfigure everybody's taste in a whole metro is a tall order. So, like in terms of the marketing, in terms of to get the word out, like what went into that?
Yeah, it's a good point. I'll probably turn it over to Brian here in a second, because he does a great job talking about how we've expanded it and the origin of how we had really the access to these distillers, which is a pretty unique situation. But go ahead, Brian, if you want to take that.
Yeah, I'm Brian Farr. I've been with working with the National MS Society in BourbonHam since year 2. My wife was actually a product of the National MS Society's leadership program, and they got to talk other ways that we could get involved. And she said, at the time we were dating, she said, well, my boyfriend drinks bourbon. And sure, 8 years later, it's a group of us that have grown, together to be able to put this event on. And we started off, I mean, honestly, it was grassroots. I remember that second year I was there, the numbers weren't big, but the people that were there were the difference. And now, of course, we've gotten a lot bigger, but the people have really been the same. Obviously more of them, but still more people about the mission, more people about bourbon in general. Really kind of plugged into Facebook groups. At that point, Facebook, everybody was drinking in the closet, I guess, and so Facebook really is
other than you, though, right?
Yeah, other than me, but I guess everybody, those Facebook groups are really what brought, I think, a lot of bourbon drinkers together. You may see some guy at a tailgate, or you may go to the bar and know this guy, but I think it really put. You'd get on a Facebook group and you're like, oh man, Fred 2 doors down, he drinks bourbon too. I'm gonna start hanging out with Fred.
Yep.
And so it allowed us to bring, and so it just allowed us to bring more people together through the art of social media. There's a lot of science behind social media now that wasn't there when we first started. So we continue to get schooled on that. But a lot of it was that just grassroots posting. A lot of stuff just working with the National MS Society. They have a lot of other great events that they put on for Bike MS. There's walks. There's they're doing stuff across the country, and so they have that access to talk through and to bring other people into the event. And then of course the spirits side of it, we were very fortunate. So Cody mentioned Scott Thorne. The other side of that. The bourbon baby, we'll call it, was Brian Gilbo, who worked at the time for a large distiller or a large distributor. And so we've been able to partner with him and utilize his contacts and relationships that he's developed in the Southeast and really across at least to Kentucky. I'm sure he spans the country, but we'll at least give him to Kentucky. but to be able to bring in big names, products, marketing, and really just help us navigate the legal component of hosting BourbonHam. So,
For sure.
but those are some of the big things. I know I'll get on a tangent talking about BourbonHam. I think we all will. So, y'all cut me off at any time as long as we're not sitting at
But
the bar.
what's your favorite bourbon that you're going to be drinking during the event?
Is that a hard answer?
It's all.
Well, I always feel like I become a fanboy, and people are like, "Oh man, you're just plugging something," and like, who's giving you mailbox money for mentioning this on the radio?
But what's the stuff that gets you drunk though that you really enjoy? I think that's kind of the question I'm asking as a journalist.
Well, yeah, and so I drink a lot of Old Forester products because they have everything. Yeah, I mean they do a good job with it, and there's stuff like if you want some 86 to put into some lower cocktails, if there's the such thing as a session bourbon, that you can drink all day, you might be able to do that. And if you're just looking for one or two, well, they've got some stuff on that end as well. And so I think that for me is the brand I usually go after.
I think for me,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I think for me, I gravitate a lot towards Willet, and they have a good connection with us down there as well. And then E.H. Taylor is a good one. I mean, the laundry list is long. And as we were talking about the kind of the evolution of how we expanded the reach. Yeah, there's a lot that went into it, but honestly, if you throw out the phrase Pappy Van Winkle and throw in a Roll Tide or a War Eagle, it basically sold out.
But
So
that's the thing with whiskey, though, is that it's a very much like have and have nots type genre of booze. What's your favorite bottom shelf stuff to drink? Because I'll drink Pappy every day of the week, sure, if it's put in front of me. But like, what if like that's all you've got? What's your choice on that one?
Shoot. I grew up.
Honestly, I think Old Forester still hits me because
that's fantastic. Yeah,
it's got some budget-friendly products. It's got some high-level stuff. So depending on where you're at in your pay period, I mean, you can still leave the store happy.
Absolutely.
I always tell people I had some Pappy 23. I gave a blind sample to a buddy of mine, and he said it tasted like shit because he had no idea what it was. If he knew what it was, he wouldn't have said that. But
That's true.
He had no idea, so he's like, "This is gross." He was
It's
just
like a power bill that you just drank.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's gross.
So what's the date on this? What's the date on this, and also how can people get tickets if they need to?
Yeah, it should be January 21st. I think is it 2 to 6 p.m. Is that right, Brian?
It is. Our VIP will open up, but unfortunately, those are already gone. A little late in the day, but yes.
Yeah, it's up at D Club in Birmingham. BourbonHam.com is really the best place to go as far as your source on that one. And we actually we offered off a Pappy 23 last year, and the winner actually dropped and busted it. So there's we have a good time there.
I want to hear the story about that.
I didn't actually see it, but there's merchandise that has morphed out of this. It's going to.
But it was a whole bottle of unopened Pappy got busted on the floor.
That is correct.
It did. It was actually every year we typically have great silent auction items and raffle items, or prize drawing items, as the people of Alabama will call it. This particular year, one of our board members won it, and he said, somebody else was like, "Hey, I'll just buy that from you, and then I'll turn around and we can live auction it." And so in the matter of about 15 to 20 minutes, we end up live auctioning this bottle off, and this gentleman won it. And when he went to collect it, he walked away, and he went
full
like
Mazel Tov, like just busted it.
No, it went out. He dropped it. So
Man.
I guess I said he had bourbon fingers instead of butterfingers, but unfortunately it shattered right there, and that was all she wrote. But it's been a good topic of conversation over the last year, and
that's a
we hope not to relive it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the event draws all kinds of good things. Like Brian said, the silent auction's always been huge. His wife and I both have helped a lot grow that. And then there's always a free cigar bar as well. And you're talking about some good sticks that are there for people that are into that combination of cigars and bourbon. So yeah, it's really cool. And then you'll have some, Brown Foreman will be there, and various distillers tend to come down. Even the face of Yellowstone was down there this past time, which was really cool.
Is Kevin Costner?
So, yeah, right.
I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I've been in the restaurant industry for over 20 years, and I'll have to say I've never heard of BourbonHam until this year. And then one of my reps told me about it, got us some tickets for Boozy Spirits so me and Matt could come. And I started looking into it, and it's like you said, the 9th year. It's at the club. It's 350 plus bourbons are going to be there you can taste. So we're getting a hotel room so we can, be
we've
safe.
got a crew of about 10 going now. So
is there enough room for me to sleep like in that hotel room?
Come on.
Like,
yeah.
I'll get a press pass. I'm sure the guys on the other end will, grant it to me.
Yeah, we got Ryan Phillips here from the Tuscaloosa patch. He's going to share this on the BourbonHam patch?
Yeah, absolutely. No, like we're big fans of everything y'all do. And I'm sure you remember the whole free the hops era in Alabama. That what y'all are doing is 20 years ahead of that.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited to see it. So any kind of support y'all need, I'll throw the weight of my institution behind it. Whatever that institution is. So there you go.
No, we appreciate it very much. It is kind of funny how when this started, and then just seeing how the world just really started to morph into just bourbon drinkers across the board. I think what's always been the most fun for me is when you come across somebody that considers themselves to be a bourbon connoisseur, and they come to this event and they're like, "Holy crap, I don't know anything about bourbon," which is my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
People get humbled. Yeah.
How many different ones there are. And I guess Gilbo, he'll be there.
He will.
I've talked to Gilbo a whole lot through trying to acquire new tequilas and stuff for my restaurant Jalapenos, but I have never met him in person, so I'm looking forward to meeting Gilbo in person.
He's an awesome dude.
Just as long as you're not one of those release day email guys, we try to keep those guys off the off the list.
Gilbo's been awesome with me, helping me out, getting new products in the state and everything. He's been really cool.
The way to help make those pieces successful for us, but Brian's he's moved from his role and now supports us at a state level, and so I think that has just only stood to increase our relationships, and I think it's been beneficial for the restaurant owners, managers, owners, operators in the state as well. Like you said, getting new products, it's really helped out for the bourbon, but lots of fun things going on with other spirits as well.
Well, I'm interested to know that, like I lived through the whole free the hops fight. Like what is it going to take to have actual liquor distilleries in small towns here? Are there state laws that are blocking us, or like what's going on? Like what's stopping us in Tuscaloosa County from having a bourbon still here?
I'm sure anything kind of comes down to what taxation, right?
Absolutely.
How you're going to do that. But, we've got a couple of Alabama brands. What do we have? Dietling. We've got is it Horse Soldier that's up towards Huntsville?
Something like Clyde Mays. I think that's another one. That's
Clyde Mays.
Yeah, we got Dread River right there in Birmingham.
So we've got stuff. I think a lot of it just comes down to sheer cost and operation for getting it off the ground. And then you're looking at what a bourbon product. It has to be aged a certain amount of time, and if nobody's got the capital to put up a bunch of barrels to sit and wait, and so then you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to source and I'm going to sell somebody else's product, and then when you come out with yours, it doesn't taste the same, and so it's a marketing nightmare. I definitely wouldn't want to take it on, but I think we've got.
Should we be okay in Alabama? Should we be okay in Alabama to just sit back and wait on it? Because I don't trust the government to
you don't trust the government,
right? That we just had another a fifth stall on the whole marijuana dispensary thing. So it's if they can't get that right, they're not going to be able to get liquor distillery right. So I don't know. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. It's just one of those, we could benefit so sorely from that.
Yeah.
In Tuscaloosa, and we've just it's almost like there's no interest. So
I don't know. I don't know who's coming after it. It's a good question. It's definitely one of those things that's above my pay grade.
Sure.
decision making wise, or you just need to do a better job with your Facebook groups. Maybe there's somebody just down the road that's got something that you're
That's a
looking
great
for.
way to put it.
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
Yeah.
I'd say there's probably 40 stills right there in Tuscaloosa now. Just nobody knows about it.
Exactly.
That's right.
Hey, there is a legal operation, the Bama Shines. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, definitely have.
We had a rep came on a few weeks ago, let us try some of their product, and it was actually really, really good. Mm-hmm. They had an aged moonshine they did, and it was really good.
It's awesome. It's been cool to really see how people have innovated, and still stay as true as possible to the ground roots of bourbon. You know, I think for a while there were a couple of years where it was people were throwing stuff out right and left. It was just terrible. You know, but now people have really settled into it, and you know, you got to lean into that limestone water too. There's just a lot of it down here in general, which is good.
But what I'd really like to hear just a little bit, I know Justin had already asked about it, but just expound a little bit of, like on who is going to benefit from the event.
Yeah, it's I'll start, Brian, if it's okay, because actually Scott Thorne, who had the original idea, had actually just recently been diagnosed at the time with multiple sclerosis, and it was just one of those things. It was kind of a passion project for him. It's kind of an idea. I think one of his biggest things is, you know, it is for the National MS Society, but he's a big proponent of, you know, how does it serve? How can we do things that really benefit people here locally in Alabama, and of course now Mississippi and Louisiana, and people who actually live with MS. So it's I think we raised just over $380,000 this last. So we're always pushing to try and cap that $500,000. You know,
now, is there a link or something that people can go to donate or?
Yeah, I think if you start internally with the actual BourbonHam.com, and then there's an actual site you can go to where you can find the tickets, you can donate. There's also a National MS Society, like a local chapter down here. So I appreciate y'all asking and kind of teeing that up. That's really who it's ultimately there for. And and one thing I'll say too before I turn it over to Brian is that you know, there's been a lot of things that people have done for MS, especially in Birmingham. There's been like a evening of wines events. It's a pretty high end event for like 30 years, and I think really the concept behind this was like, how do you gain more awareness for people, you know, about the disease itself, but how do you do it with just a much more general population of people? And so that's what's cool about it, is it feels like a good old boys gathering when you show up on it. So
yeah, I can't really add anything onto that. You know, I think we're over $1 million after 9 years, and yeah, we're getting into the point now where it's just going to keep compounding. You know, as we continue to grow in the community. You know, word of mouth again has been our best friend. I think it's allowed us to bring in great people, but also at the same time, you know, we're limited in size, and all of us are professionals in other realms. So I don't know that we could take BourbonHam to a full-time career for us, and so it kind of works out. But as we continue to grow, we look at other opportunities to add, you know, pop-up events that we can, you know, bring people to whiskey, bring people to bourbon, bring people together.
Bringing people to whiskey, you're speaking my language.
But for us, at the end of the day, I think the big picture, like Cody said, is raising awareness and raising monetary dollars to be able to support the National MS Society. And that I think it's easy for everybody to get distracted about 5:30 Sunday night by everything else that's going on. But at the root of what we do is supporting that. And Scott actually said at one time there, he said it's the poor man's wine auction, which it's kind of fun because at the same time, we're putting up some pretty big numbers and we're bringing in some pretty heavy hitters that are, and so it's moved kind of on to where maybe we're like the mid-level wine auction, blue collar maybe, but we're moving on up and only getting better. So we appreciate you guys bringing us out, helping spread awareness for BourbonHam. I feel like that should be spreading awareness for us, but also for the MS Society. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Awesome. And we look forward to having you on after the show, kind of do a recap of it too, after the event.
Yeah. And you gotta tell us your favorite like cheap bourbons that you really like too. Like I'm gonna be banking on that one.
I'll go Old Charter on that one. I don't mind that one. I'll go. You know, got to make little bit when you sip it, but it gets the job done.
That's right.
And just nothing like, was it Benchmark 8 has been in the well of every dive bar I've ever been
Yeah,
to.
you can't beat
So
that.
it's like, yeah, and you can beat it. You can beat it with a lot of things. But
For the
to
money.
be able, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like if you're Norm at Cheers and everybody knows your name, at
That's
least
right.
like anywhere you go, you're like, I can well call Benchmark and I know what I'm going to get.
That's right.
That is true.
What about you guys? Y'all, we got to get caught up on your podcast, but what's kind of some of the ones that y'all gravitate toward?
That's a tough question.
I'm a Redwood Empire guy right now. Redwood Empire is
Yeah,
kind
that's
of my jam,
We've been big on that one.
which a lot of people.
It's out of
it's-
California.
it's hard to get in Alabama. Some of them. So the good ones.
Yeah, these are uppity folks on the other side of the table. For me, I drink Evan Williams and Jim Beam. So,
We're $30 a bottle. We're
that's
not.
right.
We're not much
$30
uppity.
a bottle is a little high for me. So,
Nothing like some white label.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm excited to hear you guys' experience on the other end of the event. So yeah, we'd love to do a follow up for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Takeaways.
Yeah, because
Pretty
this will
good.
be our first time at BourbonHam, so we're really looking forward
and
to
where's
it.
it going to be held at?
It's up. It's called the club. It's usually
That's
a
right.
private social club. We basically claim the entire building for the whole day, so it's pretty awesome. And there's some VIP sections and whatnot too. As of this moment, there's only 50 tickets left for the event on Sunday, and there might be 20 or 30 left for the VIP. So, and that's out of 1,500 tickets, general tickets.
They
so
ain't
it's-
letting my redneck ass into
That's
that
awesome.
thing. But I'll be cheering you on regardless. Like,
Very, very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys giving us a call.
Definitely.
Since you couldn't make it on, give us a call. I said we'll post this on, give you some promotion about it, and get some more.
Put some
absolutely.
links on there for sure. So
yeah, thank you.
Shit, for coordinating
Appreciate
with us.
y'all's time.
And we look forward to
Yeah, we'll
meeting
do a better job next time of getting earlier.
You
Oh,
did
no
a great
problem.
job.
Yeah, we look forward to meeting y'all on the 21st. Also, have to introduce ourselves, and
Yeah, it'd be fun.
we'll be
Sounds
the,
like a
we'll be
plan.
the drunk rednecks over there, which is I don't know. It might not narrow us
We'll
down.
be
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
to spot.
No, that's
we'll be the ones
that
drinking
will
bourbon.
not. Yeah.
Be the bourbon drinkers.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Cody and Brian. Thank y'all for calling in, Boozy Spirits, and I said we look forward to meeting y'all at the event and having y'all on after the show.
Yeah, appreciate it very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you guys. Y'all have a good night.
That's it.
See you. Bye.